There are moments in life when the mind becomes restless, like a river agitated by unseen winds. We feel the weight of uncertainty, the shadows of despair, and the ache of loneliness pressing upon our hearts. In those moments, it may seem as though the light of hope has withdrawn, leaving only the cold silence of doubt. Yet, within that very silence, there is a hidden doorway, a passage that leads beyond suffering, into a place where the soul remembers its eternal nature. It is here that the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita whispers to us, calling us to awaken. The words of Krishna are not merely philosophy, nor are they distant religious verses. They are living truths, spoken directly to the heart that seeks meaning when the world feels empty. When we hear them, not just with the ears but with the innermost being, they dissolve the fog of confusion and reveal the unshakable peace that is already within us. They remind us that we are not the fragile stories we tell ourselves, nor the fleeting emotions that come and go. We are the witness to all of it, the eternal consciousness that watches the play of life unfold. Before we journey deeper into these sacred words, I invite you to affirm their power within yourself. Write in the comments, "I am unshaken, for my soul is eternal." Let these words anchor you in strength, and if these teachings speak to your spirit, subscribe to this channel and like this video, so that this wisdom may continue to reach those who need it most. When Arjuna stood on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, his heart was torn apart by doubt and grief. He could not see a way forward. Every choice seemed like a burden. Yet, in that moment of weakness, Krishna's voice was a steady flame, illuminating the truth. "You grieve for those who should not be grieved for," he said, "and yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise do not mourn for the living or the dead." These words may seem distant from our everyday struggles, yet their meaning cuts to the very core of our suffering. All that is born will one day pass, and all that passes will be born again. Life is a cycle, not a tragedy. When we truly understand this, the chains of fear begin to fall away. We stop clinging to what cannot be kept, and we stop resisting what must come. The changing seasons of life, joy and sorrow, gain and loss, health and sickness, no longer have the power to control our inner peace. Krishna calls us to stand in the still center, to live in the world without being consumed by it. This is not indifference. It is the highest compassion, born from knowing that every soul is on its own perfect journey. In the Gita, Krishna teaches that our true self is beyond harm. Weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, and the wind cannot dry it. It is eternal, all-pervading, unchanging, and unmoving. Imagine, for a moment, what it would mean to live with the unshakable certainty that nothing can truly damage who you are. The body may age, the mind may falter, circumstances may shift, yet the essence of you remains untouched, radiant, and whole. This is the foundation of real strength. Yet, even when we hear these words, the mind often resists. "But my pain feels real," it says. "My problems are pressing, my losses unbearable." And indeed, they are real to the part of us that identifies with the temporary self, the name, the body, the story. Krishna does not deny this pain. Instead, he points us toward a perspective that transcends it. He asks us to see that we are the sky, not the passing clouds. The clouds may darken, they may pour rain, they may even hide the sun for a time. But the vast sky remains unchanged, patient, and infinite. This teaching becomes our refuge when anxiety and sorrow return. The mind is like a chariot, and our senses are the restless horses pulling it in every direction. If we let them run wild, they carry us into turmoil. But if we take the reins, through awareness, discipline, and remembrance of truth, the journey becomes steady. This is why Krishna speaks so much of self-mastery. Without it, we are at the mercy of every passing emotion. With it, we remain anchored even in storms. The call of the Gita is not to escape life's challenges, but to engage with them from a place of wisdom. Every difficulty, every loss, every uncertainty becomes a teacher. When we act without attachment to results, as Krishna advises, we discover a strange kind of freedom. Success and failure no longer define us. Praise and blame lose their sting. We begin to act from love rather than from fear. And in this shift, life itself begins to change. Not because the world bends to our will, but because we are no longer imprisoned by its ups and downs. Even in the moments when the heart aches and the path ahead is unclear, this teaching shines like a steady star. For the Gita reminds us that we are not alone. Just as Arjuna was guided in his hour of need, we too can call upon that eternal voice, the wisdom that has been with us since the beginning of time. All it asks is that we listen, not with the ears, but with the soul. And when we do, the world begins to look different, as if a hidden light has been switched on within us. In the stillness of that light, something in us begins to awaken. The fear loosens its grip. The heaviness in the chest starts to dissolve. And, in its place, we feel the quiet strength of a truth that can never be broken. You are eternal, and nothing can take that away. This realization is not the end of the journey, but the beginning. A doorway to a way of living that is free, fearless, and deeply at peace. In those moments when the mind feels restless, when the heart carries a weight too heavy to bear, and when the path ahead seems covered in shadows, remember this. The greatest truths are often revealed in the depths of stillness. The Bhagavad Gita speaks not merely to warriors on a battlefield, but to the battlefield within each of us. Every verse is a whisper from the eternal, calling us back to the center of our being, where peace is not something to be found outside, but the very nature of our soul. Anxiety, sorrow, and despair are like passing clouds. They may cover the sun, but the light has never ceased to shine. In those moments, Krishna's words to Arjuna echo across the ages. You have the right to work, but never to the fruit of work. This is not a call to abandon effort, but to release the tight grip of expectation. When we act from a place of inner clarity, without clinging to results, our mind becomes free, and our heart regains its balance. If these words touch something within you, write in the comments, I choose peace within. Let this be your affirmation today. And if you feel the truth in this message, subscribe for more timeless wisdom, and share it with someone who needs light in their life. Every act of sharing plants seeds of peace in the collective mind. The Gita reminds us that we are not these bodies, nor the restless thoughts that pass through our minds. We are eternal souls, witnessing the play of life. When fear arises, it is the ego trembling, not the self. The self is untouched, unbroken, and infinite. Krishna's teaching is not to run from life's storms, but to stand in the middle of them with the unshakable awareness that you are not the storm. You are the sky. Suffering often comes when we resist what is. The mind says, I cannot accept this, and in that resistance, pain is born. Yet Krishna tells us, be steadfast in yoga, O Arjuna. Perform your duty, abandoning attachment, and remain even-minded in success and failure. This even-mindedness is the key. It is not indifference, but a higher state of engagement, one that sees the perfection even in what appears imperfect. There will be days when you feel you have lost your strength, when the will to move forward fades. Remember then that Arjuna too collapsed on the battlefield, overcome by despair. Yet it was in that moment of weakness that Krishna revealed the highest wisdom. It is often when we are most broken that we are ready to hear the voice of the soul. The call of the Gita is not to avoid hardship, but to see it as the crucible in which your inner diamond is formed. Every challenge, every moment of pain is a doorway. On the other side of that doorway is a deeper you, the one who cannot be touched by life or death, gain or loss, praise or blame. But to step through that doorway, you must loosen your hold on the world's illusions. The Gita calls these illusions the play of the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. They weave the fabric of material life, binding the soul to cycles of joy and sorrow. To see beyond them is to awaken, and awakening is not a one-time event. It is a daily choice. Every moment you choose to act from love instead of fear, every time you choose presence over anxiety, every time you remember that you are the soul and not the storm, you are living the wisdom of the Gita. These choices accumulate like drops of water, slowly filling the vessel of your consciousness until it overflows with peace. When you next feel overwhelmed, pause. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Remember Krishna's words. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, but it can be controlled through practice and detachment. This is not an instant victory. It is a lifelong practice. Yet each breath, each moment of awareness is a step closer to the stillness that has always been within you. Even as you listen now, perhaps you feel a shift, a quiet reminder that all storms pass, but the sky remains. The Gita does not promise that life will be free of trials. It promises that you can be free in the midst of them. That is the deeper victory, the inner liberation that no force in the universe can take from you. And it begins the moment you turn inward, listening for that eternal voice that has been speaking to you all along.